Hey there, and welcome to another episode of the Three Frosted Mugs, a Fiat Entertainment Group production. As far as I can tell, I'm still Rodney, and here with me is Chad.
As far as I can tell, I'm still Chad. Yeah,
You're
Chad,
still
right?
Chad.
Okay,
You're Chad.
Steven. All right.
You're Chad. And our producer Matt is with us.
Wait, I'm Matt now?
Yeah, you got to be Matt this week.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, you're
cool.
Matt.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll go by Matt.
You were
this time.
Paige last week.
Definitely Matt. Paige, it was Paige last week.
That's true.
And as you can see, which I think off the frame here, we still don't have our third mug back yet, but we're expecting him to come back sometime in the future, hopefully.
Let's hope.
Yes. So,
In the frame.
is it in the frame?
In the frame.
In the frame over here. So, we are here to discuss this week's past games, some stats, some scores, news, and whatever else comes to us while we're spinning podcast gold here.
This is true.
So, let's get right into it, shall we?
Let's get in.
It was quite a week of games this past week. Biggest surprise for me definitely is San Diego, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Certainly.
Let's see. So Thursday night, we started off with the Saints going into North Carolina. Was there any question that the Saints were going to win this game?
I'm sure a lot of people had doubts. Saints played terrible on the road.
Generally,
yeah. And even though Carolina's just not a good football. They had a good team last year. They had a really good team. And then they took every good offensive player they had, except for Cam Newton, and got rid of them.
Pretty much.
Yeah, because, they've got Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams, but those guys are always hurt.
Yep.
So you can't rely on them. They had to have known that. But they pretty much, Steve Smith, Brandon LaFell, basically their only threat they have now is a rookie in Kelvin Benjamin and Greg Olsen.
Who are the two other wide receivers that would be the 2 and 3?
Right now?
Yeah.
Tyquan Underwood.
Who in the hell is that?
Yeah, and so I don't even know who else. But I know that they are garbage. They're doo-doo. Their receiving core next to Kelvin Benjamin is doo-doo.
So they need to be looking at some wide receivers in the upcoming draft and maybe some free agency in the future.
I need to blow that team up.
They just explode it.
Trade Cam Newton. He's terrible.
Change the team colors too. Good Lord.
Bum.
Turquoise and silver. That's in the 90s.
Hey, I don't know. That Carolina blue is pretty.
You like that Carolina
blue?
blue?
It's pretty sick, yeah.
All right.
I'm a Carolina basketball fan, so I like the Carolina blue.
Oh, God. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't like Carolina. I don't like Cam Newton, though.
Oh, well, that's a problem.
Not
That's a problem.
That can be a problem. But yeah, so the Saints went in there, beat them 28-10. I guess, you had a game where, the Chargers, I was watching ESPN beforehand. I was watching everybody's picks on Fox and whatever. And everybody's lock was the Chargers.
Yeah.
Everybody's locked. I should have went back and watched it afterwards to see what everybody was saying. But the Chargers went into Miami and got pounded.
Yes, they did. 37-0.
Yeah, it's okay. I like I was on the Dolphins. But to see the game as lopsided as a blowout, 37-0.
Yeah, it should have been more like 37-35 or something like that.
Well, you would. I was expecting more like if the Dolphins would have won, maybe like a 27-25 game or like a 23-20 game because both teams have really good defenses.
Mm-hmm.
So I was actually thinking the Chargers would be able to hold the Dolphins somewhat, and the Dolphins just turned that into a track meet and said, okay, well you're not going to beat us today, and the Dolphins are slowly becoming a tough team. Now, that division, obviously the Patriots, it's their division. Mm-hmm. But the Dolphins are a good football team. The Bills and Kyle Orton have suddenly become a decent football team.
Mm-hmm.
We're not even going to talk about the fourth team in that division.
No.
The Jets. So they're terrible. But anyway, it's that division, if somehow the Patriots do falter a little bit, I don't see them faltering too much, but that's still the Patriots division. They got a few teams nipping on their heels.
So it almost feels like a waste that the Dolphins are kind of this good because of the Patriots being in their own division.
Well, but they still have wild card hopes.
True.
I think they're still there. Well, they're definitely still right there in the wild card mix. So there's it's definitely not all for naught. But on the heels of that, speaking on that division, you had, for the third year in a row, the Patriots hosting the Broncos. So if Tom Brady, again, has home field advantage over Peyton Manning.
Yeah, so they've never really gone to face Peyton in his own home turf?
They did in the AFC Championship game last year.
Right,
won.
But other than that?
Yeah, they had, not since Peyton's been at the Broncos. I don't think so.
How in the hell does that happen all the time?
Who knows? Belichick.
Belichick. Yeah,
I'm saying,
I'm not going to play this unless he comes here. It's as simple as that. Not going to do it.
but the Patriots, they just steamrolled over the Broncos 43-21, and it was just everybody. I mean, even myself included. I was like, all right, 4:00 on Sunday, I'm not doing anything. I'm probably going to order Chinese food, lay on my couch, and I'm going to watch Tom Brady and Peyton Manning in a classic. And the Broncos, I think, went up early, like 7-3, and then after that, it was the Gronkowski show.
Mm-hmm.
And Peyton threw a couple picks, and he had a lot of yards, but they were pretty much all for naught.
Well, I'm going to ask you point blank right now.
Ask me point blank.
Who's better, quarterback-wise? Who is the best? Who is better quarterback?
I've said it, and I've said it before. Peyton Manning is the best I've ever seen.
Okay.
I think Peyton Manning is the best quarterback I've ever seen play. Now, Tom Brady has played on by far some better football teams. I think they do a really good job adjusting. I think Bill Belichick's defense, when they're on their game, I think that they're tough to beat, and that's a lot of momentum shift. But I just think, and I mean, again, the Broncos have a lot more weapons. So you see all that, and then you see the score, and the Patriots just somehow just seem to always have the better football team.
They do.
But when it comes to the quarterback position, I've never seen anybody do it like Peyton Manning.
I was just thinking it would be so awesome if we did have a world championship football league, like from different countries, and then you had like the dream team, like for basketball. So you have like Peyton Manning and like your tight ends Rob Gronkowski and like just all of the best players
playing another team from another country.
We would dominate forever.
That would be ridiculous. Like if football was an Olympic sport.
Yeah.
That wouldn't even be fair.
I know. I wish it was an Olympic sport.
Gronkowski probably played for Poland, and didn't Kowski a Polish name? So would you be able to even have Gronkowski on your...
His lineage is probably from Poland. He's not from Poland himself.
But hey, if he's Polish, he had to play for a Poland team.
I mean, that's like saying Mark Sanchez would have to go play for Mexico or Spain or wherever he's from.
You might have to.
I guess. I don't know what the rules would be. You don't know.
I'm sure they can find somebody on the streets better than Mark Sanchez.
Good grief.
Julio Iglesias can play better.
Julio Iglesias is a better quarterback than Mark Sanchez. I love it. Which I noticed you skipped over a couple games here. I think one that stands out is that Cardinals and Cowboys game. That one.
I didn't even see that there for some reason.
Yeah, that's 28-17. The Cowboys lost to the Cardinals.
Yeah, Brandon Weeden, he's a turd. I mean... The guy's taking one.
Is that an official analyst term? Like, this is a turd.
You're going to see Herm Edwards. They're going to ask him, hey, what do you think about Brandon Weeden? No, he's a turd.
I just think he's a turd.
But yeah, it's ridiculous, man. He's taking more first-string reps than any backup, and yet he comes out there. I mean, to me, it's got to be a mental thing because if you're the Dallas Cowboys and you've seen this guy day in and day out, OTAs, day in and day out when Tony Romo doesn't practice on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, he's got to be playing better football than he did when he went out there, against the Cardinals. So you can't just sit there and see him in practice and say, and him play like that and say, that's the guy we know we want going out there. Mm-hmm. So it's got to be an anxiety issue or just, something that he can't play because when he came in against Washington, he played well. That's because there was no expectations. He had just came in and had to win, just going in the game.
Yeah.
But then when he had a whole week to prep, he just
and
terrible.
The Cardinals shut down DeMarco Murray pretty much too, so he had no outlet. Like otherwise, they basically forced him to have to decide to throw most of the game, from what I understand, and he just couldn't get the ball out.
Well, and the Cardinals are a good football team. They're real good on the defensive side.
We know you think the Cardinals are a good football team.
If you've been listening to this, hey, since preseason, I've been talking about the Cardinals, and here they are, 2 games up in the division. 2 games up in the division. And I picked them to not only make the playoffs, because that would have been a fairly easy...
Based on how their performance was last year.
Yeah, 10-6.
Nothing's really changed in their coaching.
Yeah, and they have a great coach. One of the best coaches in the National Football
Uncle
League.
Bruce is proud of you, Chad.
I know. I'm going to get me some... Not only am I a Cardinals fan, not only am I probably going to buy an Andre Ellington jersey...
Uh-huh.
But I'm gonna buy the Bruce Arians black glasses.
Yeah, you should have been in for Halloween. That would have been a great costume.
My wife could have been Andre Ellington.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Get in there.
That would have been great.
Babe, if
you'll eventually listen. You'll hear this.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna be next year.
Bruce
you're
Arians
gonna be Andre
Ellington.
You don't know look him up. That's who you're gonna be for Halloween.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
fun. I mean, and then we had the Browns beat the Buccaneers. The Browns are quietly just kind of keeping pace in that division. Nobody's really running. I think
They're
everybody
5-3 right now, right?
I think everybody in that division has a winning record.
Yeah, that division's been pretty solid because that's the Browns, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and who's
the
the
Ravens.
fourth? And the Ravens.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think everybody has a winning record. Tough
Yeah.
division.
Mm-hmm.
The Bengals, they beat the Jaguars at home. No surprise there. The game's not really worth talking about.
Jaguars scored too many points, to be honest.
Yeah, I know, right? And none. I could have used a few more by Allen Robinson, but anyway. Mark Sanchez come in, led the Eagles past the Texans. The Texans are just terrible on the offensive side.
They're sitting Fitzpatrick. Just came across. They're sitting Fitzpatrick for Mallett. Yeah, Ryan Mallett's going to start this
they
coming
got him
week.
for a reason. So I think that's a. I got to see if anybody picked him up in the.
Why am I giving you all of this information? I'm giving you all this
I like
fantasy-related information.
I baited you to throw me in the Briar Patch, and I was born and raised in the Briar
Well,
Patch.
I need Josh Gordon to get back and play because right now he's just keeping up a spot on my roster, and I could pick up people like that,
This
but
is true.
I can't. I just want to point out one game because this kind of sticks out to me, obviously. Robert Griffin's return, Redskins, Vikings. Disappointing loss, 26-29. And I think up to that point, the Vikings weren't scoring over 20 points for the most part with their offense.
Like 17.
Yeah, so that goes to show you a little of the hole in defense that we had. I mean, obviously, D'Angelo Hall's not there. Ryan Clark isn't living up to what they thought he was going to bring. And it sounds like the actual locker room might be in a little bit of shambles as well. I know that we constantly hear about Robert Griffin alienating himself. Britt McHenry, very attractive reporter with ESPN, was giving that report out. And then apparently there was an issue with actual paparazzi, or not paparazzi, but the press. And the paparazzi broke in. The press interviewing Robert Griffin
That's the actor
in the locker room. And a bunch of Redskin players were, yelling and being obnoxious until they forced him out of the locker room.
Yeah, it's I mean, Washington went up. They were up 10-0 late in the second quarter. Robert Griffin throws a key interceptions. Viking comes down and score.
Mm-hmm. After they got that ball back from a key fumble, I believe, right?
Yeah, I don't remember 100%.
Yeah, it was a key fumble. Then they got it, and they threw an interception.
And then they went up again late. I think it was in the third or fourth quarter. They took the lead and then just let the Vikings come right back down and score on them. Then Washington did a good job by coming back and scoring, and then just turned around and just let the Vikings just march down the field on them. Then, of course, Robert Griffin, you can't really turn to one play on a football game. But that fourth down, I guess, inside 2 minutes or whatever it was when y'all had the ball driving. I mean, he's rolling out. Pierre Garçon is pretty much wide open. It's an easy throw, and Griffin just throws it in the turf. I mean, there's a lot of things that I just don't. I can't. I said it when he got drafted. Of course, I got laughed at a lot, but I said he was going to be a bust. Then he comes out, wins the division in his first year in the league. So then I'm like, oh, great. But I stuck with my guns, and I just don't think, again, our Mug Conway always talks about once they get, he likes talking about film a lot. There's a lot of film out on Robert Griffin. He does a few things special, but he does a lot of things bad. You heard everybody talking about all the sacks that he took, that there were people open, and he held the ball too long. He could have got rid of it. It's just not a lot of consistent play at the quarterback position. So,
well, and I don't want to harp on this, but I mean, obviously his longest, I guess, amount of games in one season was his first year before he injured himself. But he hasn't really had like a full season of being the quarterback. You know what I mean? Like it's been a tremendously like bumpy road.
Well, that's the thing of it too. I mean, how long are you gonna keep him in there without knowing?
Yeah.
Because then, as long as you have him in there and he's gonna miss ball games, then there's always gonna be somebody that comes in and plays bad. You want Robert back.
Yeah.
Then that backup comes in, plays good. You want him in there. Why are you gonna bring Robert back? Then they have a bad game. So there's too many variables there. I just think long term, and I'm not saying Kirk Cousins or Colt McCoy's the answer, but I think at this point right now, I'm probably saying that in my opinion, Robert Griffin's not the answer.
I think they might be focusing on the wrong thing though. Like maybe, keep Robert around, but they need to work on a lot more on that team. Their defense.
Oh, Hazlitt should be gone after this year.
I can only imagine he would. I mean, he's been unleashed, and we haven't really seen anything.
Yeah, he's been there 5 years, I think. This is either his 5th or 6th year, and there's no consistency. I mean, they haven't done that. You're at somewhere for 5 years. You expect to have your system in place. You expect to have guys buying into the system, and it's just too much inconsistent play.
We have no patience in DC. We don't.
No. So enough about them.
Yeah. How about these Rams and the 49ers? What in the hell is going on there?
The Rams always play the Niners tough, and that was actually well, I don't know how much controversy it was, but the Niners came down. They were on like the 1 foot line.
Mm-hmm.
Last play of the game.
Fumble risky.
No timeouts, and Colin Kaepernick fumbles the ball on a quarterback keeper.
Yep.
The Rams pick it up. It tries to get challenged because it's a turnover, so it's automatically challenged. And obviously, when you're in a pile like that, you see the ball initially kind of get jarred loose a little bit, but after that, you can't tell anything, and you see a Rams guy with the ball, and that's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's a conference. It's a division game. Obviously, it's a conference game, but it's a division game, so the Rams usually play the Niners tough. I think they actually played tough earlier in the season as well. But I wasn't surprised in that one. I like the Rams, but the Niners are 4-4, I believe, and I think I'm almost positive I had them missing the playoffs this year. So I'm not really surprised, but they're just not playing good football.
Do you think this affects Jim Harbaugh's coaching career there? Do you think, because he's taken him pretty far his first few years as a coach?
Yeah, he's not going to get booted anywhere. I think if he leaves out of there, it'll be on his own terms. He's done too much in the first 2 or 3 years, and with the Niners to be fired. Now, he's an easy guy to not like.
Yeah.
So it certainly wouldn't surprise me if they show him the door. But in a way, I would be surprised just because of his on the field, what he's done, his accomplishments on the field. So yeah, I think if he leaves, it'll be on his terms, in my opinion.
Could you imagine ever having him as a coordinator? It would probably be the worst thing ever if you were a head coach. I don't think it'd be possible.
Yeah, it'd be ridiculous. So anyway, but had the Rams beating the Niners, then the Seahawks, the Raiders actually got a late touchdown to get a little backdoor cover. They were actually sitting right on the number. So the Seahawks beat them 30-24, and then the Steelers just on Sunday night. Ben Roethlisberger did his thing.
6 touchdowns.
Yeah, who does that? Nobody. Obviously, nobody.
Yeah,
the first
he's the
time
only
it's ever
person.
happened.
Do it 2 times or 2 games in a row.
And do it to the Ravens, who's a divisional foe, and you do that, on a big game where you figure both teams would be ready to have a slobber knocker of a defensive game.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, like you're thinking more of like a 23-17 game or something like that.
Yeah, I remember back when Ray Lewis was playing, Ed Reed, and then Polamalu was in his prime. It was every game they played was like 9-6, 14-13, and it was just some of the best defensive football games you'd ever watch.
I think Polamalu ended up hurting himself in this game. He's probably not going to play this coming week.
Really?
Yeah,
Didn't see that.
He injured his knee.
Occupied, but the Giants fall to the Colts on Monday night. Andrew Luck's on another world right now. The Colts, who I had playing.
He's in another world.
He's in a whole nother world. A different world. You probably don't remember that show.
I do remember a different world with the cook and Sinbad
and Sinbad. What a bad dude. But yeah, the Colts are. I had them playing the Broncos in the AFC Championship game. I still like that prediction. So the Colts are doing their thing. They beat up on a bad Giants team.
I think everyone knew that's probably was going to. Not that they were going to beat the hell out of them, but they were going to win. I think it was pretty obvious. And just real quick, house guess, one of the funniest movies ever with Sinbad and Phil Hartman.
Oh God.
And they'd play speed golf. Just watch it. It's funny.
Okay.
All right.
Check it out.
And we're actually reaching our break right here, so we're going to take what we like to call halftime. And it's going to feel
how long did you practice that in front of the mirror?
I actually just winged it right now.
Oh,
just
don't lie. You're in front of the mirror.
Wing it?
Should I put my quotations this side? That's okay.
Half these people aren't going to see my quotations. We're behind a browser right now, or behind some sort of work that someone's typing on at this very moment that they're not supposed to be even listening to us.
Why
I'm
is
sure.
Rodney still talking? I thought it was halftime.
No, Matt, I meant like on the other person's computer. I see me now. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back, so stick with us, and we'll be back for the second half. And we are back from halftime for the second half of the Three Frosted Mugs.
I went up and grabbed some popcorn and an ice cold beer.
I didn't get to grab anything. I was waiting in line to use the bathroom.
You did get a beer, though.
I did get a beer. That was, here for me. So, Anyway, so we're going to actually talk a little bit more about football. We're bringing it over into the second half, and
Yeah.
we actually have someone on the line, don't we?
We got a caller on the line. We got
Our first caller.
one of our buddies from the Big Show from out in Partlow. What's up, Big Show?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for being on, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So you're in the same predicament I am. We're Cowboy fans over the weekend.
That live in
Unfortunately,
Virginia. That is a predicament, yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, we had Brandon Whedon at the helms, man. What'd you think about Brandon Whedon?
I honestly hope we don't have to see him for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
He as many first team reps as the guy gets throughout the. They said he gets more first team reps than any other backup quarterback in the league, and it was just pathetic, the show he put on.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think. I mean, because when he came in, when they played Washington, it actually played well, but that was kind of one of them things where he didn't have to think about coming in. Do you think it's more like a mental thing with him where he knew he was going to be starting all week, and then the guy just come in and just folded?
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of leaning towards. I think he just come in and just like, in Cleveland, he knew he was the guy, and he come in and he just mentally he can't handle all the pressure on his shoulders.
He's terrible. He's a bum.
Well, Jamie, I know you're not the Cowboys beat reporter or anything like that, but just a question: where's Dustin Vaughn? Why aren't they? Why didn't they take a chance on him?
I don't really know. I hope if Romo doesn't go this week, that we do see Vaughn. I mean, what he showed in the preseason was, he can at least move the ball.
Yeah, exactly. Now, have you looked? I know you, you follow the Cowboys closely, and I know you follow the teams that they play. Have you looked up? Do you have any nuggets for us yet? I know it's early in the week. You got any nuggets for us for the Jaguars? Anything you see on them that you like or don't like?
Obviously, they're right now they're 1-8, so their record isn't really showing how good of a team they are, but they are they're a very young team. They've got some good players on their team. We definitely got to bring our A game to beat this team this week. So really right now, it's, Romo's the biggest factor on, what's going to happen to us this week.
So is he anywhere near cleared to play at all? Has anyone said, okay, he's about 60, 70%, 80%?
I think he's still day to day. I don't think they've said anything. Yeah. I know he's having some tightness in his back, but I don't think they've said, have they?
As of right now, I think they're still saying he's day to day, but they did say this morning that his entire family, parents, his wife, everybody come on the trip to London with him. So, you normally don't bring your entire family on a trip like that.
That being
for a
said,
football game that you're going to be a backup in.
Yeah. That being said, I wouldn't have let Brandon Whedon bring his parakeet with him. I wouldn't even let him. I wouldn't even let him bring an extra pair of socks. You know what? I wouldn't even let him.
I would have left him in Texas.
Exactly. You know what? I wouldn't even left him in Texas. I would have sent him to Bismarck, North Dakota.
Maybe dropped him off in Jacksonville on the way through.
Exactly. They can keep him. They can let him back up.
I did read that Jerry Jones is giving up his wife's first-class plane seat for Tony Romo. I did read that.
Wow.
Oh yeah, he did mention that he was one of the a few veterans that was able to fly in first class, and he did say he lounged back and pretty much slept the whole plane trip. So he said when he got out at London, his back felt pretty good for after taking such a long plane ride.
That's because he got a massage from Jason Witten.
All right, here I got a question for you. So, for being a rivalry like it is, I feel like the Cowboys and the Redskins have a lot of the same issues, especially when it comes to PR. And one of the things that happened recently on the Cowboys PR is, they're going over to England, which is otherwise known as the United Kingdom. They created this hashtag Cowboys UK. Say that really fast together.
No.
Cowboys UK?
Say Cowboys UK really fast together without saying it UK.
No.
As in an uck.
How about let's not. And Jamie.
They did that to themselves. I'm just saying. I have a picture. They did that with Tony Romo. Look, it's right there. Boom. It's
That's
hilarious.
Terrible. I don't want to see it. Big Show, before we let you go, tell Rodney your thoughts on the Redskins real quick.
You all beat us. Divisional game. It was a big win, but I mean,
you can tell them how terrible they are. Go ahead.
You brought in your starter, your star quarterback, finally your savior of your franchise, to come in and get mopped up by the Vikings. So
RG3's us. Yeah.
I love it, man. Hey, good talking to you, and look forward to getting your calls.
Real
again,
quick
man.
before you go, Jamie, just want to remind you, you could be 7-2 right now, but you're 6-3 instead. Just so you know.
Yeah, but hey, 6-3 is way better than 3-6. So.
I like it.
That is
Atta
true.
Boy.
That's true. Got me there.
All right, man. Good talking to you, Jamie.
All right, thanks, fellas.
Yep.
Later, buddy.
See you, bud.
Later.
That was exciting. A whole new realm has been opened up.
I love it,
A
man.
whole new realm. Now, we got to cut this volume now because then we're going to have phone ringing off the hook.
The big show from Partlow, man.
That was awesome. That's
Yeah,
good.
Good stuff right
I mean,
there.
he just pulled the record off the top of his head, unless he was sitting there staring at the standing, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, which I guess isn't hard to remember, but still, I would.
Yeah,
You know.
he follows football. He knows stuff, but yeah, I think that pretty much that covers the NFL. We kind of touched base on that. You want to bounce around into anything else?
Yeah,
Where do you want to go?
and just for a thought, next week we should get a Redskin fan on there just to talk a little bit.
I like it.
I think we should get a homer every show, maybe, possibly.
I would not mind that at all.
We're opening it up.
Maybe our beat reporter, KG Kevin.
KG Kevin, yeah.
KG or KG?
KG
KG
the big
Kevin.
show from Partlow and KG Kevin.
Let them go at it. I like having them battling.
Oh, that'd be great.
Like John Clayton and Sean Salisbury
That
used to
would
do.
be great. Could we do an on-site and then put it on the back here? I mean, in front of the stadium window.
I think Matt, you got to make that happen, bruh.
Come on, man.
Do you guys want to try calling this?
Oh, no, not right now. Kevin wouldn't be available, I don't think.
No, but you know what?
This is a great idea, though.
We can try calling him, but I think
he might. Yeah,
I think he is.
Do you just want to call him via the phone?
Yeah, I got to get his number.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
We don't memorize numbers anymore, Matt. We've got a cell phone to do all that.
Terribly sorry.
Yeah. So let's go with.
Hang on. Let me mute your mic.
Hey, what's up, Kev?
Hey, how you doing?
Not too bad, man. So, hey, good to have you on the show. We had to have a Skins fan on. We just got done talking to
the big show from Partlow.
to the big show from Partlow. So now we had to have KG Kevin on.
Right.
Hey, give us. I know things are a little tough right now in Washington, but coming off that win in Dallas, it had to be looking good, man. What happened in Minnesota?
Well, pretty much the same thing every year. I mean, I wasn't surprised that they lost. They had the game last year when they played Minnesota in the bag, and I think in the second half they allowed Minnesota to come back and beat them. They didn't have a good outing last year against Minnesota, so it doesn't surprise me that they lost again. RG3 was coming back and didn't know what to expect. I think he played well, but the defense just couldn't keep the lead.
Yeah, I mean they got the lead two or three, like twice in the fourth quarter or late in the third, fourth quarter, and then let Minnesota just come right back down the field and take the lead right back again.
Right. I mean, you sit there and you let Teddy Bridgewater come down and just pass all over them after the way that they played against Tony Romo, dialing up defenses and confusing the Cowboys, and then they come back and make Teddy Bridgewater look like Joe Montana.
I swear, man. And it could have been worse because I know you were watching, but he missed a lot. Teddy Bridgewater missed a lot of open throws in that first half. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, he missed. I think he had Cordell Patterson in the first half wide open.
Yeah, he had his guy beat by like 5 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Haslett's got to go.
That's what we were just talking about earlier. I said he's been there, 5 or 6 years, man. He's done run his course. If he hasn't got everybody on board with him now, he's run his course there.
Isn't that going to be tough for Jay Gruden just a little bit, just with their history and how he looks at Jim Haslett?
I mean, I'm sure it's tough. I'm sure they probably got a relationship, friendship. But man, if he hasn't done anything, 5, 6 years that he's been there, the defense has never changed. It's just always been bad, always been terrible. I mean,
yeah, it's always been a work in progress, and I think
right. I know. Yeah, I know he had his safeties, and D Hall goes down, but still, I mean, you bring in linebackers, you bring in defensive linemen, and it's still the same. It's the same old.
Yeah, and speaking of, his relationship with Gruden, this is a business. This ain't about relationships. If he's not getting the job done, I mean, he's gone. Their relationship means nothing in this National Football business.
Right, exactly.
Well, I'm going to quote Coach Pettin from the Browns and say that it's not just business; it's personal. It's personal.
Kevin, hey, we know you're strapped for time, man. Give us your prediction next week against Tampa, man. Then we'll let you go. I love it.
Well, I'm going to say Washington would definitely. Well, I'm not going to say definitely. Washington should win. But I could see McCown. I think he's starting this week. I could see him going all over the field with Jackson and Bobby Rainey. So I don't know. I say Washington 27, Tampa 21.
27-21. There you have it. Redskins over Tampa from KG. Kevin. Kevin, we appreciate it, man. We look forward to having you back on again.
All right, man. No problem.
Thanks, bud.
Later, Kev.
All right. See you.
All right, bye. All right,
Look at that. Have those guys been practicing? Because Kevin's got a good phone voice.
That was good. You know what? We might have to try to. We're gonna have to throw some a contract or some cash at Kevin. Man, we got to get him in for a show.
Yeah, him and Baboom, I think, would be good to have as our non-beat reporters.
Well, you know what we need to do? We need to go out and get them two together.
Yeah,
because they were good. Because Baboom was good too. The Big Show from Partlow is get them guys to kind of have their little, like a little 2 or 3 minutes sound off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sound off.
We
with
could film
Kevin.
them.
Do your voice sound off with Kevin and Baboom.
Sound off with Kevin and Baboom. KG Kevin and the Big Show from Partlow.
I like it, man. So that was both of them did real good. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming on,
man.
guys. It was awesome. Well, not coming on, but you know what I mean. Calling in. Appreciate that.
They know it.
Yeah. Hey, so let's move out of football real quick for just a moment because the NBA season has started, and the Wizards won last night. They beat the Knicks by a good amount in the fourth, I believe. They came back. They were down by as much as like 12 points, I believe, at one point during the game.
Yeah, Washington's. They're 3-1,
and that's without Beal. Beal's not even in yet. He won't be back for another 3 weeks, probably.
Well, Paul Pierce, I think it's early, so I think his minutes they're going to go down. You're going to see a little bit more because he can even when Beal comes back, he can play the 3 as well.
Oh yeah,
which is what he's going to play. But you're going to see his minutes go down. I don't think he's going to. He's averaging 27 a game right now as far as minutes. I don't think that's going to stay up there, at least not until late in the season. Then you're going to want more out of him, especially going to the playoffs where he's got that experience. But Washington right now is 3-1. They're tied for the best record in the conference. All these are conference wins, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're 3-1 in the conference as well.
Yes, I believe so.
They're 1-0 at home. They're 2-1 on the road, which is really good. And considering they started off the season with a loss, they've peeled off 3 wins in a row, including, like you said, on the road at the Knicks.
Mm-hmm. Which I think was one of their tougher opponents, if I'm not mistaken, out of who they faced. Because they played. The very first game was against Miami, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
They lost that game. Miami is leading the conference right now, 3-1. And then they played the Knicks, and who the hell else did they play recently? I'm trying to think. They played Orlando. They beat Orlando, who's 0-4, so that wasn't really a contest. And then I'm looking up and down here. I'm trying to remember who else they played.
Okay.
I think that's it. I know they have Indiana, and Indiana has not been doing well at all either. They're riddled with injuries as well,
and they're 1-3. But like I said, Washington's playing good. So what they need to do is to kind of maintain that because got a lot of teams. Toronto, they were up there last year. They were playing real well. Brooklyn's 2-1. Chicago, even with Derrick Rose riddled with injuries. That. Feel sorry for the guy, man. MVP, and then he just can't stay healthy.
It's unfortunate.
It's tough. It almost kind of. He's on another level than RG3, but RG3, the talent he has and the ability, kind of reminds me of him. Can't stay healthy to get better.
Mm-hmm.
In Miami. So if Washington can kind of stay towards the top of the pack, they've got there's a lot of bad teams in the East, so I'm not really. I mean, I shouldn't say this, but I'm not really worried about them making the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'd like for them to finish in the top. They were a 4 seed last year. I'd like for them to finish in the top 4 at least, so they can get that home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs.
Well, check this out real quick. This is their November schedule. They play the Pacers tonight.
All right, Pacers 1-3, not that good.
Then they play the Raptors on Friday.
Good.
Then they play the Pacers again on Saturday. Then they play the Pistons, who I believe are 0-3.
Yeah.
Then the Magic, 0-4. Then they play the Dallas Mavericks, who are 3-1 right now, and I mean are relatively a good team usually.
Oh yeah.
Cleveland Cavaliers. The only thing I'd be afraid of there is maybe they click. Right now they don't seem to be clicking. I just, like I was telling you earlier, heard that little sound bite from LeBron. I love it that he is so good now, and so, like, I guess his mind is so basketball driven that he can just stand back and coach, I guess, while he's on the court. I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that guy's getting a little.
It's getting a little god complex,
he's the king,
isn't he?
but he's like getting a little too big for his britches. He's still not. I mean.
Well, it just goes to show, how much does it matter? Everyone was giving the Cavaliers, as soon as they heard he was going back, oh, they're going to dominate. I know it's early. They're 1-2. I haven't seen anything magical, and you got a lot of big egos to deal with there.
Yeah, I mean, because they still do have. I mean, Kyrie Irving's tough. He's one of the top point guards. Kevin Love. So, with those 3 guys, they just get some role players to play well. Cleveland will be there in the mix. I don't see them. I mean, we did preseason picks. We'll have to go back and look and see where we had everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I had Cleveland in my top 2. At least not in the. I know I didn't have them as a top team. But certainly have them making the playoffs, being in the top 5. But all the good teams in the Western Conference, man.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
if you look over here,
except for the Lakers.
So we're gonna have a doo-doo team, of the week, and the Lakers right now are the doo-doo team.
I feel so bad for Kobe. I really do.
I don't. He's making $31 million.
I know,
a year.
man, but
I don't feel
how much that money matters
for him.
compared to the rings to them.
Yeah, but he's got enough. I'm not worried about.
I know, but if that's all you care about as an athlete, I'm sorry, you're not a true athlete at heart.
But the West. I mean, Portland's 2-2, but they're better than that. Then Golden State. Sacramento's actually playing good.
Mm-hmm.
The Clippers, Phoenix, Memphis, Houston, Dallas, the Spurs. I mean, the West. I mean, there's some good. Now, typically, what I'll say is I'm not a huge NBA person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm much more into college. So, in a normal season, I'll say there's only about 3 or 4 in the whole NBA really good teams. I mean, I think we could have a half a dozen or more, half a dozen to 7, 8. Really good teams in the NBA, and I don't say that a lot, but I can actually see that this year, and that's something that excites me because I want to like the NBA. I just can't because it's bad basketball for me as a whole. It's just turned into something that's not basketball to me. It's just a run and gun, jump and shoot game where you're not running a lot of set plays. I guess I'm old school, so that's kind of what my bitterness is.
And I think that's probably what LeBron is referring to a lot too with Cleveland, because like Kyrie Irving, like he likes to take shots that sometimes are ill-advised and. Not passing that ball around too much. But, I mean, I get what you're saying. And I think that's what has been the plus for Washington is that they can work together as a unit.
And they're deep. They play defense. And that's what still wins, man. Whether it's football, basketball, I don't know crap about hockey, but I guess defense in hockey does too.
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah, it might matter.
As displayed by the Caps recently. They had that game wrapped up and then defense just dropped it.
Just defense is is key, man. But back to the Wizards, I like what the Wizards are doing. Play tough D and just get to what you know. You got a deep team and let everybody contribute.
Well, and I'll just say this last thing, even when they fell behind, and it's easy to fall behind to the Knicks and then just lose the game. I mean, for them to just take off with it. They kept it close. Even when they were down by 12, they brought it back and consistently kept it within 5 points. And then when they had that opening, they held the opening. They held the lead for the remainder of the fourth.
Exactly.
Which was, I mean, that's just, hopefully they can maintain that. And again, that's without Bradley Beal. That's just with Gary Temple, I believe is his name.
Yeah.
Garrett Temple. G. Temple.
GT.
He's been playing pretty well for coming in and standing in for him.
He's been doing solid, so not disappointed with his play at all.
Well, I'll tell you what, we didn't get to go back to school with you. We're actually running out of time.
We'll get to. There's some good games this weekend too that are allowed to decide. And so what we'll do is, we'll get back to it next week because we're at just over the 20-minute mark.
Yeah. Well, we had some guests
our
today.
Our producer's got he's mean mugging us. So
mean mugger.
Got him.
Got him.
Hey, we do want to thank KG Kev, and we want to thank the Big Show from Partlow for joining us on the phones today. That was exciting. First time we got to do that.
Yep, appreciate it, guys.
Definitely appreciate that. And let me make sure I thank everyone that we need to thank. Of course, that is it for us at Three Frosted Mugs. I'm Rodney, and this is Chad. And we want to thank Matt for running the equipment, keeping us on time.
And I appreciate you guys dealing with the technical difficulties that we did have today.
Not a problem.
And if we do have any gamers out there that listen, esports
Esports HQ.
Esports HQ for any gamers, go check it out. I don't know much about it, but if you're into gaming, check out Esports HQ. A lot of good stuff on there from our producer.
And, of course, a big thank you to AJ Studios for the post-production and graphics work.
And Beat the Bookie next week.
Oh, yes. And definitely check out, well, first of all, check out our other show, Fantasy Focus, for advice on your fantasy football lineups. And keep your eye open for a third show that will be premiering called Beat the Bookie. And, of course, there you'll be able to listen to Chad's picks for some featured NFL games. And
we have some good guests lined up on that, too. We got some really good guests that guys that play a lot of games, guys that maybe a little more popular than us right now. Hopefully not for long. So we'll have some other guys on there giving us our picks as well and giving their their nuggets on some games.
So we got some exciting stuff coming your way. Definitely contact us at our Three Frosted Mugs Facebook page if you have any questions in reference to fantasy football, any comments about sports news, current things that are going on in the sports world, or you can tweet us at Three Frosted Mugs. That's frosted with no vowels. That's FRSTD. Three Frosted Mugs. And then, of course, thanks again for watching. Tune in next time for the Three Frosted Mugs. And, of course, may all your parlay dreams come true.
That's right.